No, thanks. Please be seated. Good morning. Thank you so much. Well, I think today is a Chamber of Commerce Day for Naples and for Southwest Florida, and there's so many days that are like that, and we're excited about being here. So today we're starting off kind of our day of outdoor announcements that we're going to be having for great things into the future, starting with Memorial Day weekend, Freedom Summer, and then, I'm not going to make that announcement here, but big announcement on Gulf Red Snapper season, which I know a lot of people are really excited about. But we're very fortunate. First, I want to recognize people we have here today. We have our Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Nunez. We have Secretary Sean Hamilton from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. We have John Lai, President and CEO, Sanibel Captiva Chamber of Commerce. How long have you been doing that? A long time? Yeah, because I remember the first time we met is when they had all the 2008, it was before I was 18, before I was governor, that all the red tide was affecting hospitality, and we did big announcements last week on what we're doing to continue our efforts on that. And then, of course, major stuff with Hurricane Ian that we've done, and it's been a lot of work. So thank you for being here. And then also both those same issues that we've been dealing with Marty Harity, owner Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill, Sanibel, and many other locations. So the one thing about Florida, it's interesting. Naples, it used to be Naples, like in the winter, you couldn't get a dinner reservation, then it really hollowed out in the summer. Now more people live year-round. It's just, there's a lot of demand. And then we have a lot of people that will visit Florida in the summer because it's great beach season. It's great time to do a lot of different things. In fact, last year we set a record for summer visitors, 35.1 million visitors between the months of July and September, which really has great impact on the economy, gives a lot of people from other states who come visit and other countries a lot of satisfaction. And part of the reason I think people have come to Florida is we have the best beaches, we have the best fishing, and we have the best state parks in the entire country. In fact, our Florida state parks had 29 million visitors in 2023, and that generates an annual economic impact of $3.6 billion. We believe, similar to what Teddy Roosevelt believed, that we appreciate the value of our natural assets and the effectiveness of outdoor recreation in producing good citizens. It's important that people have the ability to go out and enjoy our great natural environment, and that's a sentiment that we share with respect to our state parks. So I am pleased to be able to be here today to announce, because we want as many people to be able to enjoy this as possible, that for the entire Memorial Day weekend, we are suspending all entry fees for all Florida state parks. So you have places here like Collier Seminole State Park, Lover's Key, north of here, all of the entrance fees waived on those and all other state parks, May 25th, 26th, 27th, and on May 28th. And we think that that'll make a difference. It'll entice more people to get out and enjoy the great outdoors. Our state parks are, it's not just me saying that we're the best state parks in the country. We've been awarded 4 gold medals from the National Parks and Recreation Association, and that's more than any other state has been awarded. And this is something that, this isn't our first visit to this dance. Last fall, we introduced a great outdoors initiative, and between October of 2023 and January of this year, we provided a 50% discount on Florida State Park passes and on Gold Sportsman fishing and hunting licenses. And what you saw, because of that initiative, we sold more than 55,000 passes, including more than 40,000 family park passes, which is quadruple the number of passes sold during the same period last year. And so people have responded to that. And I have people come up, some of these things don't get as much attention in the media, but they have a lot of impact on people's quality of life. And so I hear a lot about this, much more than you would think based on what you hear in the media, which is great that people appreciate it. Since 2019, we've invested more than $440 million in our state parks, because we want to ensure that Florida families are able to enjoy them now and in the future. I have a budget coming up that we're still going through, but I can report that we are going to include the additional $15 million for the state parks in the upcoming budget. So our commitment remains, and we're going to continue to do it. We were also down here recently in Southwest Florida highlighting the funding for Florida Wildlife Corridor, what we're able to do to be able to link those lands, to help the wildlife, and to make sure that we can preserve that for future generation. Just since I've been governor, we've protected more than 260,000 acres of conservation land, and 90% of that was within that Florida Wildlife Corridor. So that's been something that's been really, really impactful and meaningful. So I'm proud that we have the best beaches. I'm proud that we have the best boating. I'm proud that we have the best fishing. I'm proud that we have the best state parks. And I'm happy to be able to announce that for all Florida residents, the entire 4-day Memorial Day weekend, you go to those state parks free of charge. All right. So we're going to hear from some of our folks. So first we'll hear from our Lieutenant Governor.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here in Naples. It's a beautiful day, and Governor's right. It is a Chamber of Commerce day, and we're so blessed to live in the free state of Florida, and we're blessed to have a great governor that worries about not just conservation, but of course the impact that our state parks have on Floridians. And Governor's right. We do hear from so many Floridians about the benefit of being able to visit one of our 175 plus state parks. And what I'll say is, Governor, I think that Floridians are going to be wanting more of this. So I'm excited to be able to work with the Secretary and our state parks, and of course our friends in the legislature, Representative Botana, who's here, and the local elected officials that really fight the good fight every day. So one of the great things about being Florida's Lieutenant Governor is that I'm able to travel across every corner of the state, meet with people from all walks of life, and really get a sense of what the real Florida is. And I say real Florida because apart from the glitz and the glamour and the headlines and all the things that Florida is known for in the media, what you're able to see when you visit these state parks is the unique things that we really consider what is part of Florida's history. So our wildlife, our aquatic life, our trails, our springs, our rivers. And over the last couple of months, I've endeavored to visit as many state parks as possible, and I've visited close to 20. And I've been able to do everything from ride a riverboat tour in Wakulla Springs to be able to see those gators and manatee up close and personal, not too close, but also visiting a historic site, Fort Clinch, and firing a cannon, being able to feed a lobster at our only underwater sea park in the state at John Pennycamp in the Florida Keys. And of course, seeing some of that great fishing that goes on that the governor referenced at Sebastian Inlet State Park. And what I've noticed is that each state park has something different for everyone. Just yesterday, I was a few counties north of here, and I was visiting Mayaca River State Park. It's one of Florida's original 8 state parks, and what I'll tell you is that no two parks are the same. Each one has something unique and different for every age, for every interest, for every hobby. And so if you're looking for adventure and you want to embark on a 1,500-mile-long sea kayaking journey that goes around the entire state, you can do that from Big Lagoon State Park. You can also ease your way into the world of camping. I prefer glamping myself, but at Lake Kissimmee State Park, they have these beautiful cowboy-themed teepees that come with a coffee machine and air conditioning, so if you're not into roughing it. But every state park is special and unique, and I know the Secretary obviously is very proud of that part of his job. But I do encourage Floridians to take advantage, to go outdoors, to visit a state park. They are a gem, they are a resource that we have, and really spending time with family I think is so important. As we get close to Memorial Day weekend and we honor our nation's heroes, take advantage. Go visit a state park, but always make sure to keep those that paid the ultimate price in mind. And thank you, Governor, so much for this announcement. It's an honor to be here with you all today.
Thank you, Governor. Again, I'm Sean Hamilton. I have the pleasure of serving as Secretary at DEP. We have so many great reasons to get outdoors, as the Governor noted, and as Lieutenant Governor noted. We've got some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, candidly. We have some of the amazing spring resources and just amazing award-winning state parks. And just last year, the Governor noted, we welcomed 29 million visitors to our state parks and generated $3.6 billion in economic impact. And I don't know, for obviously working with directly with the folks that maintain those resources, they are very passionate about the opportunity to serve those visitors from day in and day out. And so I encourage you to take advantage of Lieutenant Governor's offer to beat her. She's only at 20. There's 175. And so if you can top her, I think that's a fair competition. But last week I had a chance to spend time with the Governor. He's continued to roll out record investments in our environment, in restoration and maintaining our natural resources for a generation to come. And I can't think of a better way to connect this current generation and future generations to that important mission than getting out into the real Florida. There's nothing like it. Obviously, I use it. I constantly need my batteries recharged based on the cycle we live in. And there's no better opportunity to do that in our natural resources. So the Governor talked about Memorial Day weekend kicking off this incredible opportunity for our Florida families. But as the Lieutenant Governor noted, there's truly something for everyone. You know, maybe your idea of a good day is relaxing on a kayak or a canoe, going down a lazy spring run, or maybe you just like to lay out in the sunshine and soak it up at our award-winning beaches. Maybe you like the 1,000 miles of trails. I love trails. That's my favorite because A, I need the exercise, but B, I love being out in nature. And then there's also opportunities at so many historical and cultural sites to sit back and reflect on Florida's history and so many of the great things that we offer within our state parks. But at the core of that is some of the amazing, passionate staff and volunteers that maintain that resource. And so I'd like to continue to acknowledge all of their great work. And like the Governor said, only state park with 4 of these. We'll get 5, but they had to change the rules to slow us down just a little bit. But again, it's because of those folks they had. So as their official representative, I want to thank them for their continued work. And in closing, again, I challenge you to get out this holiday weekend, spend time with your family, connecting to the resources, honoring our nation's heroes. And again, I'd like to thank the Governor and Lieutenant Governor and our legislature for continuing to provide these opportunities to connect our current generations and future generations to what we all hold dear. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary Hamilton, Lieutenant Governor Nunez, and Governor DeSantis. I appreciate you all for what you do. Our Representative Adam Botana, thanks for being here, and thanks for all that you do as well. I'd like to take credit for this Chamber of Commerce Day, as I am the President and CEO of the Sanibel Captiva Chamber of Commerce, but my colleague from Naples, Christina Park, is in the crowd, so I will allow her to take credit for this day in Collier. Thank you today, Governor, does not seem to be enough. You see, in your short, well, in your tenure, those of us who represent our state's tourism-driven economy have so much to be grateful for that a simple thank you doesn't seem to sum it up for you. Seemingly on the day that you took office, you recently pointed out that we asked you to help us. We asked you to help us protect our water quality, which is our most precious asset here in Southwest Florida, and you answered that call. We have asked you to support and fund our state marketing agency, Visit Florida, and you've answered that call. We've asked you to help us recover more quickly than our competitors following the only pandemic I hope I ever see in my lifetime, and you've answered that call. You've kept our great state going by allowing visitors to come back to us before anyone else did, and you kept our economic engine rolling. And because of these efforts, our tourism industry reported a record $121.5 billion in fiscal year 2022. And as if all of that wasn't enough, on September 29th, just 1 year, 7 months, and 1 day ago, I'm not counting, the day after Hurricane Ian, we made what I thought was our biggest ask yet. We asked you to help us rebuild after the worst natural disaster our state has seen in our lifetime, and you answered that call. Rebuilding our bridge in Southwest Florida on Sanibel and Captiva Islands to get access to our beloved islands would have been enough for me. But you haven't stopped there. In fact, you've answered every other call since then to not only help us recover physically, but to ensure that economic revitalization remains a priority, and today's announcement is just one of those many examples of your unwavering commitment to economic prosperity and the promotion of tourism in our great state. By opening up our state parks to all at no cost over what will be a very busy Memorial Day weekend, we will get yet another opportunity to showcase our natural wonders and diverse landscapes that make our rebuilding region of our state a true treasure. Your vision and dedication to boosting our economy through tourism have played a crucial role in shaping Southwest Florida into the vibrant and thriving area that it was pre-Ian and undoubtedly will be again very soon. As we look forward to Memorial Day weekend, I invite fellow Floridians and out-of-state visitors to explore, appreciate, and celebrate the natural wonders of our state. But selfishly, come to Southwest Florida. In closing, I again extend my deepest gratitude to you, Governor, for your leadership, dedication, and vision for a prosperous state and for all that you do to make Florida a beacon of prosperity and hospitality. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Marty Harity. I'm one of the partners in Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill. September of 2022 was devastating. In the course of one day, we lost about 75% of our total revenue. I talked to my wife after the event, and the causeway was gone. Pretty sad time. I thought it's over. We're done. 500 employees, right? We're done. And then all of a sudden, he shows up. One word describes Ron DeSantis to me, and it's called leadership. It's called leadership. Being perfectly frank, when he told us that he would have that causeway open in less than 30 days, I won't tell you what I did, but it was in Animal House. And you know what? He did it in 28 days. Leadership. Right? Anyway, when I look at where we were and where we are today, we still got a long way to go. But I will tell you this, 1922 or 2022 was, we were on our way to having the greatest year we ever had, revenue-wise, profit-wise, that kind of stuff. And then the hurricane hit. Well, I can tell you unequivocally, the first quarter of this year, we are only 1.6% behind the first quarter of 2022. Thank you, Governor. And all of that credit belongs to the people I work with, and Katie's here, who runs Sanibel, and the mayor, the former mayor of Sanibel, Holly Smith. I was involved in politics, and I was a mayor for Charlie. You all remember Charlie? And people used to say to me, Harity, you know, this Ian stuff, and, you know, and you were the mayor at Charlie. And I said, let me tell you something. Charlie was like turning your sprinkler system on, right? Compared to Ian. And the mayor did a heck of a job. The governor did a heck of a job. And we're on our way to having the best year we've ever had. Now, we're not done yet. We've got plans for new restaurants and stuff like that. And we still got a lot to do. But the pedal's to the metal, and we're going to keep it going. And with all the stuff, like Memorial Day weekend, I mean, that equates to butts in my booths, so to speak, okay? And people come here. But anything the governor can do to help us, he's shown time and time again, you know what? Leadership. And I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Governor.
Yeah, I think the thing about Ian was such a big storm. It's true. If you look at like Charlie's, how big Charlie was, like it was like a dot compared on the map at how much Ian went through. It was a really catastrophic storm, and obviously a lot of damage, and there's been a lot that needed to be done and still needs to be done. But people are bullish on Southwest Florida. People are bullish on Sanibel, these places. Like there's no question that they're going to come back better, and it's really good to see that they're doing very well even in 2024 already. So sometimes areas can get hit by something like that, and it's like the end of it, like it just never comes back. and that clearly isn't the case here. And I think there were a lot of folks worked really hard to ensure that. And yeah, look, on the causeway, I understood how important it was. I mean, we were flying things in on helicopters. We were running these boats. I'm like, that is just not going to work. Like, you can't have a normal life with that. That could be in an emergency. You can do that. But people have got to be able to get to and from, and so we were happy to be able to push that through and get that and connect the island back. And same with Pine Island as well. I mean, it was just something that needed to be done. So we're excited about Memorial Day weekend. We've got other things we're going to announce later today at some of our other stops, including our red snapper announcement for the golf. So stay tuned on that. But we hope that Floridians will be able to enjoy one of our state parks, or more of them, or maybe even more than that, over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. You'll be able to do that free of charge and hopefully be able to take your family and have fun. We're unique in this country in some respects for what we have to offer when people come. We're also leading on how to handle things like university decorum and these protests. And I look around what's happening at like Columbia. I look around what's happening at places like Columbia, and the inmates are allowed to run the asylum. It doesn't work that way. In the University of Florida, Florida State, all universities have been very strong in saying, you can say what you want, but you don't have the right to commandeer territory. You don't have the right to harass students or faculty or any of that. And if you do violate code of conduct, we're going to show you the door. You will be expelled. And that's what should be done in every part of this country. So we're going to continue to do that and make sure that we are upholding basic standards of conduct and basic standards of decency. And what I found is, these people that do this stuff in these other parts of the country, they do it because there's never any repercussions. And so they just get away with it. The minute you tell one of these people you're not going to graduate from Columbia, you're expelled, you will see a change of behavior. That's just the reality. But the administrators don't have the fortitude and the strength to actually stand up and do what's right. And that's different in Florida. We're doing what's right, and we're going to continue to do that. And we also, and I announced in January that we would be waiving our transfer rules, because usually you have to be in another university for a certain period of time. We're going to be waiving that for students who are being discriminated against. Largely right now, that's Jewish students in this country, given what's going on. Our rules aren't limited to that. I mean, if there's other people that are in a bad environment, we do. But I think you're going to see some of these students in some of these schools to say, you know what? The hell with it. Why would I want to put myself through that and be targeted by these rage mobs on campus? I can come to Florida and actually know that I can study in a good environment and be treated with respect. So I think you're going to start to see a lot of people take us up on that offer. We won't know until the fall semester, but we're a much different environment, and people are noticing that. And what we're doing is the right thing to do. And it's sad that what we're doing is even noticeable, because this should just be kind of how all this is. It used to be you would have some of this campus stuff, maybe at like a Berkeley or in some of these pockets, but now it's kind of become the norm all across most of the United States. I think Florida certainly is an exception, and then there's some others that are exceptions. And the same thing with just outside of university campuses. You have these pro-Hamas people taking over bridges and taking over streets in other parts of the country. They tried to take over a street in Miami, and they got dragged off the street and dumped on the side of the road. We're not going to let you take over the streets. It's absurd that you're going to make people wait in traffic and do all that stuff. It doesn't make sense. So I'm proud of what we have to offer with the natural resources in this, but I'm also proud of just leading with common sense and saying, you know what, Florida is going to be a refuge from the insanity that we see in so many other parts of the country. All right, we have any questions? Anybody back there?
I wanted to ask a question. This is Matt McBennett with Fox 4. The protests on college campuses have been overwhelmingly peaceful based on independent reporting. You seem to have taken a stance against some of the speech that students are engaging in on campus. I wanted to have you clarify that today. Should students be punished at all for
First of all, that's not what we've done in Florida at all. You have a right to support or not support Israel. That's a First Amendment. You don't have a right to pitch a tent in the middle of campus and commandeer some of the property. And so what we've seen is when students, and look, there haven't been that many in Florida. I mean, it's a much smaller compared to these others. But when you go and you're bringing a tent or something on like a campus lawn, you know what they did at Florida State and University of Florida? They turned the sprinklers on and said, okay, you want to have, so that's just how it's going to be. But it's about conduct, and it's about making sure you're doing the code of conduct. So you can say whatever you want about Israel, pro or con. What you don't have a right to do is commandeer property. You don't have a right to harass individual students or faculty members. In Columbia, they were blocking a Jewish professor from being able to cross into a building just because he was Jewish. They were targeting for that. That's different than having an opinion on something. And so, no, what we're doing is absolutely right. I think the University of Florida put out a statement yesterday saying, people can have the views that they want, but the University of Florida is not a daycare center like you or we're not going to be sitting there and indulging this. And I think that's the right way to go. All right, thanks everybody. God bless you. We'll see you.